in the letter, as it stated, the church's concern was economic development. So in economic development, you need some type of endowment to help support that. So the church wanted to get life insurance from members and pastors and that to leave for the 3rd district. So we went to a couple different insurance companies, a couple banks. It's called premium finance, where the banks will give you a loan and finance the insurance, and then the interest is left behind. I mean, it's been done for years. So they approached us with that probably about 2015, let's say 16, when it all started. So we started researching on how to get that done. So we would travel around to the different conventions and churches with them and say, hey, this is for your economic development, which will leave behind, which will leave an endowment or funds to help support real estate offices for economic development and provide jobs. It'll help fund scholarships. It'll help fund schools. It'll help fund whatever projects that they wanted to do.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that progressed then?
So the bishop will make an announcement saying, hey, we are doing this project here to help support economic development. We need you to fill out a form. So you hand the forms out and people fill out the forms, and then you have people call and set up appointments and get their information and put it together and then submit it to, you submit it to the insurance company or you submit it to the bank, and you work on that, and the progress was just moving forward.
And you guys would like present that at conferences and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember you showed me that those couple emails from the
5-6 times a year, all of it. So you have to present it at a conference. It's not, again, it's a church organization. I just can't walk into a church and say, hey, I want you to leave a life insurance policy for your church. It doesn't work that way. So it has to come from the top down.
So why do you think the church in its public statement made on its website saying there's no relationship between the church and the Richard Allen Group, why did they cite the life insurance policies?
Why did they cite that? I don't know.
Did they ever give you guys any indication that they were like, that they didn't want you to do that anymore, or that they didn't want to do that anymore?
No.
Yeah.
It was in the process. I don't know where it went on, because at that point,
they weren't paying you guys. They would have been paying, or they would have been signing up with the church.
Right. So it's not like the policies get left to us or the Richard Allen Group or anything like that. It gets left to the
bank
district.
did it get them?
Time out. So right there,
yeah.
he said to them, so how does that make sense? Why would I go to the church to get life insurance policies to leave to your church or the 3rd district? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So he's denying something that doesn't make sense. He's denying something, saying, hey, but if they do, and you do want to leave it to your church in the 3rd district, that's like, well, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. So why in the world? So he made that, right. So it doesn't, that's why I said it's all in there. And that's why when we went down to talk to him and said, hey, at this point, my mentality is, my mentality is still to try to protect everybody. Like I said, you have kids involved now, and the church, like, hold on. Think about it. If you have 50,000 members across the 5th district and 1,000 of them get a $250,000 policy and leave to the church, you now have an endowment of $250 million that's just gaining interest on it that you can use for all those things that you proclaim you want to do. It's not, doing this was, it's not like they were leaving policy. I can understand if the policies were left to Roy Johnson, if the policies were left here, the policies would never be left to us. It doesn't make sense to leave them to us. The only thing that I think we really want them to do is just complete what you said you're going to do. Make sure the HER offices run okay. Make sure people have access to getting homes and good homes and understanding the buying process and that part of it. Make sure you understand that. Make sure that you continue to have something for the future of the next generation. So make sure that, you know, people are aware that they can leave life insurance to their church and these community organizations to help the community come along. And lastly, just help fund the school and do what you want to do. Like, do what you said you wanted to do by funding the school and making sure that kids have, you know, a safe haven to go to school and use all their talents, not just, you know, sports. Sports was the easiest to do because I just didn't know a band director. If I knew a band director, we would have worked in the music too. And then just give them an opportunity to have a shot at life itself. When you talk about lawsuits, you're talking about a lawsuit that just takes care of that. And I don't know if there's a number for that. Hopefully you can just talk about it, and with the new leadership coming in, you can speak to the new leadership and say, hey, look, these are the things that we wanted to do. More importantly, if this is a money thing, this is how we plan to fund that. So now you can fund this project and you can work and you can help kids. I mean, you're talking about a $7 million piece of the asset that was given. That's the part that confused federal investigators. That's the part that confuses you. That's the part that confuses us. I could see you coming and saying, hey, we don't want anything to do with you guys because we don't have money to do that. Even though in the statement they said they made $15 million a year and have $400 million of real estate. But I'm gonna put that to the side for now. Even though you're saying all that, we got other organizations. We got a church to say, hey, here's $7 million asset.
Yeah.
Get a line of credit against that and you can build a school with that. We went to a world-renowned stadium builder and say, look, normally a stadium is gonna cost you $10 million to build. Guess what? I have friends that can donate this and give this and that, and guess what? We can build a stadium for $1 million. So you had people who were coming to help you. I don't know why you would say no. Federal investigators don't. It's the most baffling thing, because why wouldn't you take $200 million in life insurance as an endowment for the church? Why wouldn't you take a $7 million asset? Why wouldn't you take HER office, the largest real estate company in Ohio, who wants to put real estate offices in black communities, which is why we have the HER office on Long Street, which is why you have 20 employees there. Why don't you want to do that?